see right now is discrete sonic/radio frequency torture, manipulation, and influence. This is transcranial stimulation. This is voice to skull. This is RF hearing. This is a variation of Frey effect. So, in Dr. James C. Lynn's book, The Auditory Effects of Microwave Radiation, he talks about the phenomenon of microwave auditory effect. He talks about his study and the studies of the U.S. government at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research and Technology in the 1960s. And in the 1960s, they were using 2.4 gigahertz. So 2.4 gigahertz is a range from 2 gigahertz all the way to 3 gigahertz, and right in the middle of it, 2.4 gigahertz, is a range that has been proven to work for microwave auditory effect. It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that every single human being has a Wi-Fi unit in their house, for the most part, that is kicking out exactly that same frequency. Now, Dr. James C. Lynn and other affiliated scientists determined that this phenomenon still works at higher frequencies. So going up to 5G, that phenomenon still occurs. Now, what you're looking at right now is significantly lower frequency. Okay? This sound is being created right now from ultrasonic and infrasonic activity that is then creating audio at a different range. So there is a transmitted radio frequency or ultrasonic value coming from the communications infrastructure most of the time, and then satellites and drones have the capabilities as well. And what's happening is, through a scientific phenomenon, there's a beam of radio frequency transmitted at us, a constant beam transmitted at us, and then this sonic phenomenon occurs. There's a sonic phenomenon that occurs from microwave auditory effect that creates pressure waves inside of our heads, and then there's additional audio phenomenon that are occurring. So one of the audio phenomenon occurring is microwaves can create infrasound. So infrasound is low frequency sound. It is fear sounds, a lion's roar, a jet rumbling. And infrasound, you can't always hear all of it. There are mysterious things that happen in infrasonic ranges. There's resonance capabilities there. And then when that's utilized, in addition to ultrasound, this is a modern neural phone in addition to V2K. So it's not just communicating directly to a person with no one else being aware that it's occurring. It is also interfering with their soul, with their subconscious, with their sub-vocalized thought. So when people are singled out, targeted with this technology, like what happened in Desert Storm, with the opposition at the time being hit with this technology to make them think what happened? To make them think God was talking to them. Now we've got incidents in the United States that occurred. If you watch First 48, a whole season of First 48, you'll see that there's a person about every episode that thinks the devil's talking to them. Well, I theorize that could be the same technology in a different application. Or potentially a very, very, very secretive, corrupt group that profits from creating chaos in communities. Most likely indirectly, but could be directly as well. So right now I've got a different filter on that I normally use. On my IF noise reduction, we've got BC Extreme being utilized. I had this set at negative 34 dBFS. We're dialing it down to negative 28 dBFS. We've got my audio noise reduction set on speech narrow. We're set at negative 56 dBFS. And what's happening now is that female speech tone, the most important, most annoying one that I've been harassed with for going on a decade now, every single minute of the day, okay? That is thousands of hours of torture that I have survived. And not just sat here and put up with it. I've filed report after report. I wrote a letter to Jim Jordan, to Senator Hawley, to Ted Cruz, to Dina Titus, to Jackie Rosen, representatives I felt like I could trust. And within that same quarter, there were 3 FBI whistleblowers that came out and made a presentation about how unethical these lists that then get you put on a shit list like what I'm on right now, how unethically they are maintained, managed, and that there's an ulterior motive this whole time, just to get a new FBI headquarters, to lie to our representatives, to lie to Congress, and say, God, guys, we've got such a bad domestic terrorism problem. We need more surveillance of American citizens, because look at all the crazy shit they've been doing. People are just snapping left and right. We need a new FBI headquarters so we can surveil everybody. Because you know what people do at these school board meetings or at a Catholic mass? It's despicable. No, that's what 3 FBI whistleblowers said. And God forbid you want to have a private conversation with your significant other via Facebook Messenger. No, because the exploits will be exploited to read that private conversation. Now I'm gonna bite my tongue for a second. I'm gonna take this mute off. Now when that hits me, it's a human female chatbot with some real-time additions to that via a transduced microphone that is then added into this message. So the human party can speak into a microphone. That message goes through the communications infrastructure, either through satellite, drone, or cell tower. Drone wouldn't be, I guess, communications infrastructure, but since it's allowed to exist in this controlled airspace, it is kind of a part of this whole system, right? Moral of the story is, this happens from a computer portal, whether it's at a base or a private residence, and it is being transmitted on purpose at the intended targets. Now, this is a fact, a provable fact, to the point where I hired an expert, an unbiased third party, called a building biologist, to meet that burden of proof threshold and knock it out of the park, grand slam it. He said, without a doubt, after turning off every single device that I can, putting my phone in airplane mode, unplugging my router, doing every single thing I could do, I have an extremely dangerous, or an extreme, which is the worst category, level of wireless radio frequency being transmitted into my house at head level and waist level repeatedly 24 hours a day. So that's in a value that's going to 100% cause biological harm. When this is reported to a safety and a safety entity that is also supposed to regulate that jurisdiction, like the FCC, they don't act on it. They don't even have a building in Las Vegas. So before the federal government gives 1 red cent to any FBI funding, we need to have a federal radio frequency branch for people to go report crimes like this to, like in FCC in Las Vegas. And that would be a very expensive building. So maybe the new FBI director, Kash Patel, would say, you know what, I think the FBI doesn't need anything right now. We're going to give our Christmas money to the FCC. They clearly need a building in Las Vegas. Now that would be ethical. And every time I make a video like this, I get my head attacked crazy. So if I have a little misspeak, like right now, I can't tell if I said Christmas money or birthday money in referencing a federal budget that is neither. It is our fucking taxpayer money, that we deserve transparency and a vote on how it's spent. Not a vote on if you want an orange dude that likes to spray tan or a lady that tries to make everybody feel like they're not PC. You know what I mean? We need to vote on where the fuck our money goes. That's the most important thing. So again, this is incoming fray effect, microwave auditory effect, subliminal messaging, voice to skull, and this is how it's coming in right now, okay? So right now I'm hearing next to nothing, and this is at the same tempo. There's a direct correlation to this and what little remainder of V2K I am currently experiencing. Now when I dial this threshold back, it'll make an immediate change in what we were receiving. That's a good sign. That means it's an important filter. Now, you can use your ears and say, does this sound closer or farther away to a human's speech? Now, since I was doing very well picking up the low frequency and missing an entire element of this V2K communication, this is exactly what I want to be picking up right now. And now you see this audio spectrum bar. You see this freaking out like this? That is indicative of voice. That is what happens when there is voice transmitted. These spikes indicate voice. Okay, this is speech coming in and out and in and out and in and out. And I'm going to show you how intense this is on a static gradient. So you see how red being the most extreme here, okay, on the key. So what's being transmitted is no joke. And if you look at the power level of this, it should say about 600. 550 to 600 decibels. So a jet plane is 120 to 200 decibels, okay? And that's enough to rupture your eardrums. So this sonic harassment is reading at 600 fucking decibels, okay? So if this for any moment is not done absolutely perfectly carefully, this will kill us. This can rupture your eardrums. This will bring you an AHI. This is 100% the cause of Havana syndrome. Look at the fucking power level. If this is done by somebody who is not 100% following every single one of the safety guidelines in place for these derp scouts or these perps, then this will kill people. You know War of the Worlds, where they have that little Scientologist that likes to dance on Oprah's couch, who had the War of the Worlds death screech from the aliens? Well, this is that, guys. This sure as fuck is exactly that. And do you think that they need to go knock on doors and tell people, hey, it's time to get into your concentration camp? No, because through the communications infrastructure, they could death screech all of us and kill us. Or just make us complete and total zombies, which we practically already are, because what are we paying taxes on? We don't have proper representation. It is a proper theater. We're at a proper theater, my mates, lads and ladies. This is a proper theater is what it is.